Welcome to this episode of the Sports Detective Podcast Show. My name is James Williams, and today Daniel Jones has a message for the haters. What are we talking about? Well, as you guys know, the Indianapolis Colts right now have the best record in the NFL. This is absolutely shocking because a few months ago when the Colts named Daniel Jones their starting quarterback, everyone was just universally bashing the Indianapolis Colts. The fans were down on the team. Everyone was saying, oh my God, what are they doing? RG3 is out there like, oh my God, the Colts are tanking for Arch Manning. They are not trying to win. Why aren't they playing Anthony Richardson? Chris Ballard's an idiot. They didn't develop Anthony Richardson. Shane Steichen's an idiot. And they have just spent the first 7 weeks of the NFL season proving everyone wrong in a very impressive way. We'll get to some of the stats with how just historic the Colts are playing so far to start this season. But first, Daniel Jones was asked about the Colts start to the season and if he had anything to say to the people that doubted them. And he basically said, hey, those people that doubted us, they really didn't know what they were talking about. So let's go ahead and let's listen to what Daniel Jones had to say when asked about people that doubted the Colts this year.
Not that you care, but those of us on the outside, I think, are a little surprised at just how well this team is playing to start the season. What do we need to know about this group that maybe we didn't know going into the year?
I don't know. Sounds like y'all didn't know much, but we're just going to keep going, keep working, and we have a lot of confidence. I think we got a lot of good players, guys who work hard and do the right thing.
Saying there, hey, you guys are a bunch of dum-dums. You guys thought that we were going to suck. You guys thought that we were tanking. You guys are stupid. You guys didn't know what you were talking about. How dare you doubt this football team? Now, I'll get to my opinions of what I thought about this football team before the season. But before we do that, I figure we just show you guys a few very interesting stats because it is really incredible. First off, the rise that we got from Daniel Jones here, where literally I thought this was just a very insane graphic that I figure you guys would want to see here. How much things can change in 1 year. November last year, he was released by the Giants. Released. And in October, they have the best record in the NFL. We got that one. I also got another one here for you guys. This one is from Anthony DeBundo of The Ringer. You guys can see here, it's the graphic, but Anthony DeMundo tweeted it. Through 7 weeks, the Colts are the most efficient offense by points per drive this century. The teams that are behind them right now, that are 2-3, just to show you how impressive that is. The 2007 Patriots that went 16-0, and then the Kansas City Chiefs in 2018. And by the way, that was the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs that I believe that was the year he threw 50 touchdowns, if my memory is correct. I believe that was his first year starting. We also got this one here for you guys, too, that I thought was amazing, too. And, you obviously had all of those insane Peyton Manning seasons, Johnny Unitas seasons in Colts history, and most points in the first 7 games in Colts history. Daniel Jones, 8 points better than any Peyton Manning season. This is absolutely astonishing, too. Because we just showed you with some of those stats there, it's one thing to be 6-1. It's one thing to win games. And, like when the Ryan Tannehill Tennessee Titans, when they won a bunch of games, when they were riding Derrick Henry, they were winning games, but they weren't dominating. They weren't dominating. This Colts team is dominating. Now, you can do little nitpicky things, and you can say, hey, who have they really played? They played a bang-up Chargers team. They played the Raiders, who were not that good. The Broncos game, if there wasn't this procedure penalty at the end of the game, the Colts lose that game. But any way you slice it and dice it, this Colts team has been incredibly impressive this entire year. And I will say this, I can't really flex on this too much. I did think this Colts team could be decent heading into this year. And I didn't put my money where my mouth was, so I can't brag about it too much. But I kind of was looking at Daniel Jones being the starter for the Colts, and I was thinking, I don't think people realize how terrible of a franchise the New York Giants are. The only 2 years that Eli Manning won playoff games in his career was the 2 Super Bowl runs. Every other year he made the playoffs, they were one and done. And I think he only made the playoffs 6 times. The New York Giants are not a good franchise. They do not know how to build a team. Now, let's see how things are going with Jackson Dart. They're really hyped up right now. Obviously had the devastating loss this weekend to the Broncos. But if you look at Daniel Jones' entire tenure in New York, his offensive lines were always terrible. Yes, he had Saquon Barkley, but you really it was kind of like give Saquon the ball and have him juke out 3 guys in the backfield and then watch him go for a big gain. It really wasn't that sufficient of an offense. If you seriously go back and look at some of his wide receivers that he was throwing to, there was years where his number one receiver was Wan'Dale Robinson and Sterling Shepard, who are nice players, but when they're your number one wide receiver, like you're only going to get so much out of your passing game. His entire time in New York, too, he had like Joe Judge, Brian Dable, who I'm not sure is that good of a coach. He just did not have good coaching. And I kind of looked at this Colts situation, and I'm like, okay, at best, this Colts offensive line is above average. So that's a plus for Daniel Jones. It's the best offensive line he's ever played in front of his career. Doesn't have Saquon Barkley's, but he's got Jonathan Taylor, who's a really good running back. The wide receiver room's maybe not the best in the NFL, but it's still very, very good. Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, Tyler Warren, who everyone knew was going to be a stud if you watch him at all at Penn State last year, and he's been an absolute monster for the Colts this season. So he's got weapons. He's got the best offensive line in his career, and he's got a good offensive coach in Shane Steichen. And I don't know if you guys remember 2 years ago, Anthony Richardson's first year, he starts like, I think it was 3 games, then he gets hurt, out for the rest of the season. Gardner Minshew takes over, and that Colts team led by Gardner Minshew was like 2 or 3 plays from winning the division that year. It went down to the last drive of the year against the Houston Texans, where the winner of that game would have ended up winning the division, going to the playoffs. I believe Zach Moss dropped a pass, if my memory is correct, from 2 years ago. So I kind of thought, like, okay, Daniel Jones can come in to the Colts, and he can be just as good as Gardner Minshew, if not better. So I don't know why people are doubting this team. But what they have been doing over the first 7 weeks of the year, this isn't Gardner Minshew taking over and being your starter. This is elite type stuff right here. This is absolutely shocking. Now, do I think it's going to be sustainable? Do I think this team is all of a sudden one of the 3 or 4 teams that you should pick to win the Super Bowl? No. I don't think you should do that. I don't know if we should say that yet. But right now, this team looks like they're going to be a 2 or 3 seed in the AFC right now. I think they have a lot of their divisional games coming up, which all of the teams in that division are very, very flawed. I believe it was, I wish I had their schedule pulled up right here. I know they play Titans this week, and then the game that they're playing after that, I feel like, is pretty winnable too. This team's not going to stop winning. This isn't going to be a team that fades down the stretch. Everything is clicking on all cylinders. Like, even the defense is playing very good too. Like, it's a top 10 for defense and scoring. I know the yardage isn't the best, but that's probably just because they're blowing out a lot of these teams. So a lot of teams are getting yards late in games. I'm not sure if that's exactly the case. I haven't dived through all the numbers on that. But shout out to Chris Ballard. Shout out to Shane Steichen. Shout out to Daniel Jones, because no one believed in you guys. No one believed in you guys, and you're proving everyone wrong. Hey, I understand the criticisms of Chris Ballard. His 8 years leading the Colts, has never won a division title. I don't think they've ever won a playoff game. And it felt like they just kind of kept being this place where they were like a hospice care for like old quarterbacks, where like all of these like quarterbacks from the 2010s, basically they would go to the Colts in the 2020s and they lead them out to pasture, like Matt Ryan, like Phillip Rivers, like Carson Wentz. It's like that was their last job, was just going and spending 6 months at the Colts. So shout out to those guys. This team looks really, really good. Probably not beating the Chiefs, but I could see this team winning a playoff game or two. The last point I want to make, and then we'll head out of here. All of the people at the beginning of the season that were talking about Anthony Richardson, and they were talking about the Colts failed Anthony Richardson, and they didn't develop him the right way. And it was kind of like taking one of these Chris Ballard quotes where he kind of like said that, where he's like, yeah, maybe we didn't do the best job at that. I think this kind of paraphrasing what he, really meant about the development of Anthony Richardson. But I was really mad in the moment when people were saying, like, oh my God, like, you got to put Anthony Richardson in at quarterback because you drafted him and you knew that you had to play him in order to develop him. And the Colts are failing to develop Anthony Richardson, bro. And I'm like, okay, so you guys admit that he sucks. So you guys want him to go out and play there in order for him to get better. But him going out there and sucking is going to make it so that everyone gets fired. Guys, I don't think people realize Anthony Richardson, when he played for the Colts, before he got hurt, was statistically like one of the worst quarterbacks ever. Like, that's how bad he was. He wasn't just like, he's not that good and, he's give him some time and he'll get better. No. He was like the bottom part of the NFL. He was Tim Tebow level inaccurate. Like, all the advanced stats had him. Like, you can go back. We did videos about this last year when he got benched. We were going through some of his stats where he was just like at the bottom of the NFL with washed Deshaun Watson. It was like those guys are at the bottom. And there have been guys that have not been the best quarterbacks early on in their career and then have developed to be very, very good. Josh Allen is one. You go through his 18, 19, 20 seasons, or at least 18, 19 seasons. I think 20 is when he started getting good. He was not good his first 2 years in the league. But the Colts had like this situation here with Anthony Richardson where he's this incredible athlete. He's got like the measurables of Khalil Mack. He's got like 4.4 speed. He's an insane athlete. So the best way to utilize him would be to run him. But then when you started running him, that's when he kept getting hurt. And then it's like you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because you play him the way that you should play him, keeps getting hurt. If you don't want him to get hurt and you have to make him more of a pocket guy, then he's just going to be one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks ever. So it made sense why the Colts decided to go with Daniel Jones. I mean, I've had my criticisms of Daniel Jones. I have said many bad things about Daniel Jones. Did not think he was very good with the Giants. But shout out to him. Shout out to Chris Ballard. Shout out to Shane Steichen. Shout out to all these guys. You guys had a lot of crap talked about you, especially last season. Now you're in this season, and you're going to be a top, I think at least maybe even top 2 or 3 seed in the AFC. So shout out to you guys, and keep it going. I'm very interested to see what's going on with the rest of the season because we've seen these reclamation projects over the last few years where we had Darnold get reclamated, Geno get reclamated, which that's obviously not going well with the Raiders now. Then obviously Baker is like an MVP candidate. Daniel Jones got to be an MVP candidate. I'm not saying he should be top 2, maybe even 3, but he should be top 5 right now. That's how good he's playing. So good job, Indy. Keep it up. We'll be talking about you guys as we're getting deeper into the season, but that's going to do it for this video here today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you got this far into it, please hit like, please hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. I don't know if you guys can tell by this channel, we are getting very, very close to 1,000 subscribers. We're at like 965 now. 965, I think, is what we're at, or at least at the time I'm recording this. So please subscribe, help your boy get to 1,000. That's just going to be a very big goal for us. We've been trying to do that for a very long time. So if you help me out, give me a subscription, give me a comment what you guys think about the Indianapolis Colts, what you think about their season, what you think about Daniel Jones, what you think about Anthony Richardson. How do you think they fare in the AFC right now? Would love to hear your guys' thoughts. And thank you for watching. Feel free to check out other content on this channel, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you.